everybody, this is Strategywizard again, and today I'm going to be doing a review of Grave Robbers 3, Suburban Slashers in Sunnydaleville, I believe. No, Sunnydale Street. It's a sci-fi horror B-movie card game by Z-Man Games, designed by Stephen Tassie for 2 to 6 players. It is rated PG-13, and I would say appropriately so. So, not for kids. Yeah, they even have an actual... They don't even show a regular age, they just say PG-13, like the movie, which, like I say, definitely appropriate for this game. Now, this game I bought partially because it was on sale at Miniature Market, and last I looked it still was very cheap, and it's a game that's unique, to say the least. I mean, for one, there's not many games about making a B horror movie, and my wife really enjoys horror movies, and she even enjoys B horror movies. So whenever I saw this, I thought I've got to try it just to see if she likes it. That was just a no-brainer. I just had to at least try this and see what it would be like. So I bought it, played it a few times with my wife, and now let's go ahead and go down to the table. I'll show you how to play, and I will let you know what we both thought. Okay, so here's the setup for 2 players. Each player is going to get 6 cards dealt to them face down. Now, before that happens, actually, you're going to do this, but I wanted to just show it all at one time. The first thing that's going to happen is you're going to deal out these 6 cards, and you're going to use these 6 cards to make a title for this B-movie, this horror B-movie flick that you're making. And you'll notice that there are words on the bottom of each card, like in this case it's vampire, and you're going to use those words to make a goofy, cheesy horror B-movie title. So in this case we have Malevolent, Black, Suburban, Serial, Scream, Vampire. They allow you to make modifications to like adding prepositions and articles and making things plural, etc. to make the movie title. But for example, you could say the Malevolent, Suburban, Serial, Screaming Vampire. Something crazy like that, some cheesy B-movie horror title. Now, however many you use, you're going to write down what your title is on a piece of paper, and that title is going to help you get bonus points at the end of the game. So all these words, you can write that down. Let's say you used 5 of them. You shuffle all these cards into the deck, then you would deal out the hands, and if you end up having these cards, there aren't duplicates of these words. There's only one Suburban, only one Serial. Each card has its own special word. So all of this, these cards right here are the only ones that are going to get you bonus points at the end of the game. But if you have any one of these cards that made the title of your B horror movie in your hand when the game ends, you will get 5 bonus points. And of course the goal of the game is to have the most points, so 5 bonus points is a nice little chunk. So if you get these cards, you're going to not want to play them because you want those bonus points. You have to weigh, do I want to get the ability of the card, or do I want to save it for the bonus points? Now, I'll leave these out for just showing other cards for later, but you would have shuffled these back in. You deal these cards, and you'll look at your hand. Let's see. You have characters, which are blue. You've got creatures in red, which are the bad guys. You have special effects in yellow. There's 2 of these roll the credits cards in the game, and there are locations. There are also props in orange. So this guy has a pretty well-rounded hand, I would say. This guy, he's got a lot of special effects, 2 characters, and a prop. He's got a handgun. So what you're going to do at the very beginning, if you don't have any characters, you basically do a mulligan. You discard your hand, and you draw another hand of 6. But you have to show everyone to prove that you don't have any characters. Whenever everyone has characters, you're going to play them down in front of you. Every character goes into your movie. So this is the start of your movie right here. Each person has their characters in play, and from here, the first player, which is the person to the left of the person who dealt out the cards, they're going to take their turn. They're going to draw up to 6. So let's say it was this guy. He played 1, and he gets another creature, which is a killer dessert from hell. How exciting. It says, it's creating an army of calorie-conscious, low-carb zombies. Now, they say in the instructions that every time that you play a card, you should read this text because it adds to the fun of the game, and I agree with that. There's a lot of goofy, funny stuff, and the humor is a lot of the excitement and thrill of playing the game. If you like these kind of B horror movies, you'll get how silly some of this stuff is, and there's references to other movies. So you'll put this in your hand. Now, on your turn, there's a number of things you can do. You can attack the other person's movie with creatures. You can play special effects cards for their ability. You can play location cards into your movie or someone else's movie. Characters, unless they say otherwise, have to be in your movie. Locations you can put in other people's movies. Creatures you use to attack others, and special effects do different things. But here's the thing, you cannot attack anyone. You can't do anything that hurts someone else on the first turn. And on the second turn, you still can't play roll the credits because that ends the game. So you have to get at least a turn 3 before you can play this card. There's only 2 of these in the whole deck. So if you have this, that's pretty exciting because, especially at the beginning. Now, this is an example of how the game can end super fast. Now, let's just say I can't attack yet, so I don't. I can't do that. I look at my special effects. You can play as many of these as you want. It says camping in the backyard. And when the lady got out of her car, did you just hear something? So it's always some kind of flavor text that gives you some idea. You know, you're telling a story and then, oh no, there's something coming to get us. So it says kill one young character. Now here's the thing. You have each character, pretty much any card has traits. In this case, his only trait, the quiet guy, by the way, says he was quiet, kept to himself mostly, but he has this book that says how to probably make a bomb. So he's maybe not such a good guy. And you'll notice he can actually be played as a killer, a psycho killer to attack someone. But in this particular case, his only trait is male. So this right here, whenever it says kill one young character, it couldn't affect him. But over here, where you'd want to kill other people's stuff, they have an old family neighborhood male, and they have a female smart. This is a typo, by the way. Just going to throw that in there. This is the only typo I know of, but they say female, but that guy is clearly male, the high school guidance counselor. Yeah, that was a mistake, I think, but that's okay. The point is, you can't kill a young character right now because there are none here. If that character also has the trait neighborhood, immediately bank 3 points for killing them. Wow, that's pretty powerful. But I can't use that because there's no young characters over here. So right now, I can't do anything with any of these cards. Now, at the end of my turn, I can choose to discard as many cards as I want. I would definitely not discard the roll, the credits, because that is very powerful and rare. I might discard this because I don't know if they're going to get a young character, so maybe I'll just throw that away. And then these creatures, you have all these different monsters that on the next turn I'll be able to use. We have the Hungry Dead, chomp, slurp, gulp. And there's supernatural zombies, always succeeds in the graveyard. So if there's if someone's location is the graveyard, then he can just automatically win no matter what. And then we have the Android Wives. Welcome home, sweetheart. Yeah, I bet. And the Android Wives always succeed in the suburbs. So there's different effects that different cards have depending on the location and other things. I might say, you know what, I'm going to discard 2 of these. I don't need so many bad guys. And then at the beginning of my next turn, I'll draw up to 6. And then it's the next person's turn. They can add a prop to one of their people. We have a handgun here. Give me that, kid. You'll just hurt yourself. Blam! Ow, ow, ow. And it says the handgun cannot be given to a young character if there are any non-young neighborhood characters in the same movie. Now, like, for example, this old man who says, I thought I told you kids not to play with dead things. He is a neighborhood. He's not young, and he's neighborhood, so I could not give this to a young character because the older people are trying to keep the kids from having handguns. So there's a little bit of thematic stuff going on here, but I could give this to either one of them. Now we'll go ahead and go into combat so you'll understand why this is important. Each creature has an attack value, in this case attack value of 8. Each character has a defense value, in this case 3, and I get +3 for having this gun. So I have a total of 6 defense against 8 attacks. So let's say on the next turn, I would have drawn up, but let's just say I go ahead and play this card. I'm going to attack you. There's actually, I have to add up all of this. I have to add up 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's actually winning right now. I could not beat him by playing this card, but let's just say I had some other card that could help me. Let's say I would have drawn this card. Remove one character from play. So let's say I had drawn this first, which I would have because I would have gotten up to 6. Played this. I'll just remove this old grandpa right just immediately. What was that called? I'm just curious. Blind, stupid optimism. I can't see it, so it must be gone. Yeah, well, the old man's gone now. He made a mistake. So I attack. I say, hey, I'm going to attack over here on this player's, in this case 2 player, obviously it's the only person, but if there's multiple players, you would choose who you're going to attack. I'm going to attack this guy, and you would total my attack versus their defense, and I would win, as you can see here. So in this case, they have to lose a character. Let's say if they had 5 characters and I had 1, I could choose which one got killed. Any props they have also go away. And my attack goes away. Now they have less points. Now what's going to happen at the end of the game, let's say it's on turn 3 and I'm at this point, I could play roll the credits and win immediately. Because on the third turn and beyond, as long as I have at least one character in play, I can play this card, and whoever has, and then that just ends the game, and I can see I have the most points. So and end of the game, of course, these would have been shuffled in, and if this person had some of those cards, he might get lucky, because I have 5 total points. You add up your defense value, so 5 points here. If they had 2 of these cards, they'd have 10, they would have won. I wouldn't have known that they had those cards in their hand, but in this case, I won because they didn't have those cards, because I didn't shuffle them in. Now, what's going to happen is, as you're playing the game, roll the credits could happen any time, so you're constantly trying to struggle to keep your defense value high, and there are cards that can hurt your opponent. Like there's a location you can give someone that actually is bad for them, and you can trump their location. So if someone had this, if he had this card in his hand, well, I'll give a better example. Let's say I had this location, which is a +5 defense. He could actually play this on me, make me discard my other location, and decrease my defense. So, in fact, let me just go ahead and go over the detail of how the cards exactly work in detail. Locations, as I said, can go on either location. Some can actually be attached, and it will say that in the text. You can attach some locations to others, which could hurt someone or help yourself, depending on what the card is. Like I say, characters have to be played on your side, but there's one exception that can be played on your opponent, and it's a bad thing, of course. Props, you can play as many props as you want on your turn, but you can never give more than 1 to the same character. So you have to be, but you can also pass a trait or a prop to another character. So let's say I had the token black family and the quiet guy, and let's say previously I had given the grenade to the quiet guy, which is very suitable since he's trying to make a bomb, but let's say the black family is like, you know what, we should probably take that from you, you're a little fishy, so we give the hand grenades to the token black family. Then what happens is this hand grenade is considered to have been played on this character this turn, so I could play another prop. Let's say I had this in my hand, I could play this on him, but I can't play any more because you can never play more than 1 prop per character per turn. Now, the special effects you can play all day long as much as you want. Some of them increase attack power or defense, or like this one, just moved in. And you in town, I think you'll get to like it here if you live long enough, which around here you probably won't. Give one character a +2 defense strength and the trait neighborhood for as long as it remains in play. So that could be very important. They never used to fight back so hard, but obviously they did. Add +5 defense strength for the duration of the current attack, or stop 1 psycho killer attack. So you can give yourself some good defense, but if it's a psycho killer, like this guy could be played as, he can actually be played as a psycho killer because he's a little fishy, then you can just stop it altogether so they can't mess with your movie. Killing spree. It's like a shopping spree, but with more running and screaming. Obviously, you've never been to Walmart the day before Christmas. Place this card beside the discard pile for the remainder of the game. Every time a character is killed or otherwise removed from play, the player responsible banks points equal to the printed defense strength of the character in question. Oh my gosh, that's a chance to get a lot of extra bonus points. So there's a lot of crazy stuff that can happen in here. The special effects do radical things. The locations have different effects. Here's the only thing. Some of the cards reference other cards that are not in this game. And I have to presume they're from other B-movie card games that Z-Man has published, because I have not seen them in here whatsoever. That being said, that's okay. I mean, it's not a horrible thing, but sometimes it is a little frustrating when you see something that references a location. I can't remember which one it was. There's something that says if you're in Sherwood. Well, Sherwood is not a location in this game, so it's kind of like it's promoting you to try to buy more of the B-movie games so that you can have more effects going on, but the deck is already so big, and that's the other way the game can end. The game will end as soon as the deck is depleted. So if you combined a bunch of different decks to get a lot of different cards, you would have a super duper thick deck to go through, and the chances of those cards popping up and actually making a difference is probably still pretty small. So I think I would have liked it maybe if they just kept it to where they only reference cards within this game, but just so you know, that's a thing in this game. So that's how you play, though. You get to the end, total your points for whatever your defense value you have, and get any bonus points for any of the cards that had the title of the movie, portions of the title of the movie in them, then you're done. Game over, and you move on to the next game. So that's how you play. Let me go back up, and I'll tell you what I think. Okay, you see that this is it's basically a take-that game. I mean, you're building up your stuff, and then you're trying to attack the other person, trying to defend against what they do. That's the meat of the game, is constantly trying to beat each other up. And it's very thematic in the sense that, you know, everything is about the movie set. It's about having a location, having your actors, having monsters come and try to attack them in their movies. And the only thing that's not thematic, I guess, is why is my movie sending monsters to attack their movie, but it's part of the fun, though. And there's a lot of flavor text that adds some interest to the theme, and a lot of inside jokes. I mean, there's lots of inside jokes in these cards. I mean, for example, this card right here, Gone Postal, shows a guy who's a mailman on the post office, and he says, "I've got your special delivery right here," and he's got like a machine gun and a pistol. So he's a psycho killer, and he's a neighborhood character. So it's interesting to say the least. I mean, they try to add a lot of humor and things that would tie to the B movie genre. So it's one of those games that I think. Maybe before I say that, let me go ahead and just go over the basic things that I like to say. As far as component quality, it's cards, and they're decent quality. They're not linen finished cards, but they're nice quality enough. They'll get the job done, so I don't have any complaints with the card quality. The artwork is cheesy, just like it should be, appropriately so, and can't really complain there. The replayability, I would say it's a replayable game because if you like a take-that style game, you never know what's going to happen. There's a lot of cards that are going to come up, and since the game ends when the deck is empty, you never see the same card more than once. You're always, and if the roll, what's the card called? Roll the credits. If the roll the credits card comes up, it could end super quick. And I actually forgot to mention or to show how quickly that could happen. But I'll just mention here. My wife, the first 2 times that we played this game, we had, what was it? There's a location that gives you, I want to say 30 defense points. It's bad because your characters, at the beginning of your turn, a character dies at the beginning of every turn. So it's bad, but it's got super high defense. Well, she had enough characters, like maybe 2 characters, so she could lose one, and then bam, roll the credits. I mean, and it was right off the bat. I mean, she played it, I think, almost as soon as possible because she started off with all the right cards. She ended the game immediately on the 3rd turn. And she did that twice, 2 times. How in the world that happened? I must not have been shuffling very well, but it's crazy zany the way this game works. So it's replayable in that sense. You never know what's going to happen. The game could end super quick, or it could last a while, all the way to the end of the deck, because sometimes you'll get to roll the credits card and you can't play it because people keep killing all your characters, or you're so low on defense points that you know you'd lose even if you played it. So you never know what's going to happen, so there's replayability there, a good bit of it, I would say. And then, as far as the strategic level, there's a lot of luck here. I mean, the luck of the draw is humongous. For example, what my wife did twice, that was super lucky, and it made it to where I had no chance of winning. Literally had no chance. But, that being said, there are strategies in this game, because sometimes you have to decide, do I want to throw away these cards and hope I get better ones on the next turn? Or you might think, should I try to get a combo and do this, because some cards work together in certain ways, and sometimes weapon props can be used with certain bad guys to boost their attack. Now, you don't know what cards your opponent has, so they could have stuff that boosts their defense after you attack, and you might be surprised and lose. So you have to weigh your options and think, what is the most important? So there is some strategy here, but still, luck of the draw is very important. Now, if you had a lot of players, I've only played it 2-player with my wife, but if you have more players, you're going to have more gang up on the leader going on, which actually might self-balance the game somewhat, but it's still, if somebody's really lucky, they will still come out ahead. That's just the way it is. So, that being said, what do I think? What would I rate this little horror movie game? I would give it a 6 out of 10. I would play it if I'm in the mood, and the reason why I say that is because personally, I enjoy playing with my wife because I know she likes horror, and she doesn't just think this is one of the best games ever, but she enjoys it herself just because the horror genre is there. I mean, the theme is there. There's points where you laugh because of the goofy stuff the cards say, and you do some exciting things, and it's fun to be able to do a cool move and destroy your opponent's movie. But that being said, neither one of us just thinks it's just great. But we're both happy that it's in our collection, and the reason why is because it's unique. The theme is unique. The gameplay is interesting, and it keeps you engaged. I mean, you're engaged the whole time, even on another person's turn. There's not like downtime in some games where you're just like, is it my turn yet? And here, you're excited because you're going, oh man, are they going to attack them? Are they going to attack me? What's going to happen? Oh man. And you just have enough, there's enough stuff going on where every turn is interesting for every player. So it is enjoyable. It's just, there's too much luck in it for me to give it a higher rating. But again, because it is unique and special, and my wife enjoys the theme, and I enjoy the theme enough to where we can get into it, that makes it stay as high as it is. So it is what it is. Glad it's in my collection. If you like horror movies and B-horror movies, and you like the theme and you want to see a game that has that theme, I think you would enjoy this. If you also can enjoy a Take That game, which I can enjoy, it's just how much luck can you handle? That really is the question. A lot of luck, but it is what it is. So, thank you for watching the video. Leave any comments down below, any questions, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more, subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care, everybody.